and welcome to this week's edition of our I've Decided podcast. My name is Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided, and I am so excited to be with my guest today, Julie Gray. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Kim. It's great to be here.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Well, you're going to find out in a minute why we think she's an awesome guest. But my question for you this week, for you to contemplate is, are your habits dulling you or making you sharper? Now, when we think about our daily habits, we can get so acclimated to the things that we do on a daily basis that we don't even recognize if they're good or bad. Right. We're just doing them.
Yes.
And the big issue with that is our habits determine our outcome. So we want things so badly, right? We want them, and but our behaviors don't show that. And so I am here to introduce to you guys Julie, because Julie is passionate about writing.
I am.
And so when we think about sharpening our skills, we can utilize the analogy of sharpening a pencil.
That's what I like to do.
And I can't believe how perfect timing the weekly winning word fell. For next week, you're going to be leading, and I've decided to write 3 workshop sessions. You're going to do 3 in this year, and then continue into 2023.
Correct.
So we're going to learn all about that and how you can sharpen your writing skills. And it's going to be virtual.
Yes.
So you can join from anywhere. So wherever you're watching this video or vodcast or listening to the podcast, wherever you are, you can join. And so we're excited about that. So obviously you are kind of a writing expert, Julie. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background and just kind of share why you approached me and said, I'd really like to do this. And you're a part of our I've Decided community.
Yes,
and
I'm a community member. And so a little bit about my background. I've worked in communications, marketing, public relations for my whole career. I've worked in the industries of insurance, healthcare, and probably most recently the last 8 to 10 years in an IT data systems department area within some major corporations. So I've always done writing, everything from annual reports to press releases to, writing PSAs for radio or commercial scripts. And I've also written a lot of feature articles for local Peoria area publications.
Right.
And so
you have a little dream too, don't you?
I have a lot of dreams
when it comes to writing, though.
I do. I want to try a whole variety of things. Publish some children's stories, write a novel, write a screenplay.
I remember you said that's one thing you really want to do. So that's on your goal list, your dream list.
That is.
So this could be an opportunity to give you some accountability yourself.
Exactly. And I approached you to start this because I've been thinking about it for a long time. And part of the reason was that accountability works well with me. So if I'm accountable to other people in a group, that I think keeps me on track. And I think it can help other people too, who, have that goal, but maybe don't organize themselves to achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you're coming to a group of people and other people are reviewing your writing and providing feedback, then that kind of prompts you to keep going.
Absolutely. So it's accountability, support, 2 pieces of the puzzle for success, right?
Yes.
So now you know why Julie is a perfect guest for our weekly winning topic, which is sharpen. That's our weekly winning word this week within our I've Decided community. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. In the weekly winning article, we talked about 5 habits to stop that are dulling your abilities, and what you should start then to help sharpen your abilities. So we're going to have a discussion around that, but I just definitely wanted to get out here right front and center because this workshop is starting next Wednesday, or I really should give the date because I don't know when someone might be listening to this. So Wednesday, September 28th. Wednesday, September 28th. And it will be virtual on Zoom, and it's from 6:30
to 7:30.
6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And you do need to sign up. It's absolutely free, but you do need to sign up. And I tell you what, the easiest way is if you go to our I've Decided Facebook page, our main page on I've Decided, there is a link that's tagged right at the top. Great. And you can sign up right there, or you can message us or send an email to me at kim@ivedecided.org. But if writing is one of your goals,
yes,
and any kind of writing,
correct. I think we're focusing on people who are interested in everything from a feature article to writing a movie script or a TV show script, a play,
blogs,
a book, blogs, yeah. So and
anything,
anything in that realm would fit.
Yeah, and you had a very successful writing group in years past.
Yeah, well, actually, I started. I had my own business for about 8 to 10 years, and I started a group of freelance communications professionals. So I did a lot of freelance writing again for local publications, and I I really benefited from that, and I think other people did as well. And so I thought, well, I have that experience. I'd really like to share that, and so I hope that people will be interested and sign up.
Yeah, I know we've had a few sign up already, so I believe they will be interested.
Great.
Okay, so what are those habits that are dulling our abilities, and what are some things that we need to replace them with instead? So one of the things that we talked about, Julie, in our weekly winning article this week was stop pushing through and start taking a break.
Right.
I compared it to bulldozers, right? Like
yes, you did.
I mean, we live in such a fast-paced world.
It is.
Everything is moving. The information is coming at us so quickly,
right,
that it's almost virtually impossible to process it all.
It is.
And so we're just, we're plowing through like a bulldozer, except we're not bulldozers.
Correct.
We're humans, and we are not designed to just keep going without taking a break. And I think that, that kind of workaholic state, or that got to stay busy all the time, just can't take that chill time kind of mentality,
right,
is wreaking havoc in our society. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. And I think especially for anyone interested in writing, you have to have that time apart to regenerate, because I think it takes thought, and people have writer's blocks,
right?
So maybe that's because they're too busy. So I think everyone can use the time to reassess what they're doing and ask how busy am I, and do I need to slow down?
Yeah, so that's a great self-reflection question. So when is the last time that you've truly taken a break? And I don't mean like a little water break. I mean like a rest day, a relaxation day, a day where people laugh at me, but every now and then I just need I call them a veggie day. It's what I call them. And my daughters know it too, because they're like, oh, you're having a veggie day today. I'm like, yes, I am. Don't bother me. And so that means usually that I don't get out of my jammies, and I spend most of the day on the couch, just watching some Hallmark. I like good, I love sweet love stories, but nothing to, like Hallmarky kind of love stories. It's like little teen. I think I compare Hallmark love stories to like teen romance novels on TV. Very PG, but sweet little shows. Or I'll watch Shark Tank, things like that, or rewatch The Voice. I love watching that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I can spend the whole day just doing nothing but that. And I did that on Labor Day. I'm like, I planned it too. I'm like, I'm doing nothing, and I couldn't wait. And it's not being lazy. No, it's not being selfish.
It's not.
It's saying I work very hard.
Yes.
I have a lot of people that I want to take care of and give back to.
Right.
And how can we do that if we're not re-energized or rested?
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. So stop pushing through. You're not a bulldozer. Okay.
Like
Take a break. Take some rest. Okay. Not to be confused with procrastination. Because the second one is stop procrastinating and start doing it now.
Yes,
And it's funny
exactly.
that I put that right after taking a break. And I said, unless you're resting. Do
Uh-huh.
it now unless
Yeah,
you're resting. Okay.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
otherwise, do it later. And the point is, we don't want to confuse procrastination with taking a break or a
correct.
rest after working hard. Procrastination is different, right? So,
Yes,
procrastination is not because you're tired, it's because you simply don't want to do what you know you need to
to
do.
do. Yeah.
That's
And I think
procrastination.
most of us struggle with that. I know I
That might be
do.
like hitting the snooze button right in the
Yes.
morning
Yes.
and 20 times before you wake up.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, Katie, she would set her alarm for like 5 o'clock in the morning,
Oh, wow.
and she didn't have to get up till 6:30
Okay.
because she wanted to hit the snooze button that many times. Craziness, right? It justified something in her mind that she could just hit that snooze button so
Yeah.
many times. But finally I had a conversation with her and I said, truly, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to sleep until you absolutely have to wake up. You
Right.
don't want to be late. You want to give your time for breakfast, not like
Yes.
sleep till the last minute when you're walking out the door,
Right.
but wake up at a reasonable time so you're not rushed, but you're missing out on a good hour of sleep.
Yes.
And that's more important than the snooze button.
Yeah.
She actually got it, and she started just setting her alarm to when she
Good.
needed to. So, sometimes we'll even, just so we can procrastinate,
Yeah.
we kind of factor it in.
And I think sometimes, even if you're a writer, you procrastinate.
I would say that
So
for
I
sure.
think bringing, coming and being part of a group's helpful to that for that accountability.
That accountability.
Yeah.
Well, I think for writers, procrastination is probably the number one thing. Do you know how many? I bet you're listening. I probably know this about you. You're wanting to write a book, and you've been wanting to write a book. And who's listening out there that I'm hitting the nerve? I know I am because many of our members have said to me, I have a book I want to write. One of our success partners, Kurt, are you listening? One of our success partners, Kurt P. White, who has an amazing story to tell.
Yes.
And he has a book to write. So many. And
Yes.
what I hear is time. Making that
Yeah,
time, you're
you
just
have to
kind of
make the time,
you're putting it off, maybe procrastinating.
possibly.
Because we have time to do the things we want to do. We make the time.
Right. It is all about making the time and scheduling it.
It's like exercise.
Yeah.
I don't allow anyone to say to me, I don't have time to exercise.
Yeah.
I don't ever say that to me because that's just not true. It's absolutely 100% not true. Unless you are ill in a hospital, then maybe you can say, I can't do it right now. That would be true.
Correct.
But if that's not your case, then you do have time. You can make time. I actually, and I give this as an example. I run with two teachers, well, and a retired principal now, but they're teachers. They have to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. They have kids. They have young kids that are in school. And so they're going to all their games and all the stuff that they're running their kids around to. They show up to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. They work all day, come home, clean house, all the things that we do.
Right.
And they still find time to run 4 days a week. We go out at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That amazes me.
But we do it.
That's dedication.
It is dedication. Yeah. And it's just a point to say there is no excuse. You can't say, oh, I can't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You can if you want to. Correct. I don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I do. Just as an example, right? And writing would be the same. But again, it comes back to, and we're going to talk about it in just a second, not going solo, but what makes us get up is the group, right? It's the group. So let's just jump ahead because you guys, you got it, right? Stop procrastinating, start doing it now.
Yeah.
Take a break if you're tired. I'm going to jump ahead and then we'll come back because this makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Stop going solo and start building connections. Yes. It's nice to spend some time alone if it's time to refresh and recharge.
Right.
But if you're constantly going solo, you are not sharpening your skills. That
Right.
could be dulling your abilities. And
Right.
so it's my running group that keeps us going at that time of the
Right.
morning.
It's a good example.
It's your writing group that will keep you writing on time. You will have accountability to know I need to bring this back next
Right.
week.
And I think the other part of it is that when you join a group or a community, um, you bring talents to that group. So I'm hoping that people who participate in this, I've decided to write, will be able to, you know, provide a presentation on a topic that they're expert in.
Absolutely.
And, we all have connections with
Mm-hmm.
people who, um, have other talents. So, from my freelance group that I started, I have some people who I'm thinking of, coming in and talking about different topics that are, that's what they do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm hoping people who join will be willing to, educate the rest of us on something they know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's contribution, which
It
is
is.
a piece of the puzzle for success.
Yes.
We all need to contribute. That's a part of being successful. You can
Mhm.
have all the other 9 pieces of the puzzle for success.
Mhm.
But if you don't contribute, if you're not giving back,
Right.
you're not
Very
going to
important.
feel fulfilled.
Mhm.
And that feeling of being fulfilled is success.
It is.
That's what success. When someone says, "Well, what is success really?" Because we think of success like fame and fortune, right?
Right.
Like if I'm rich and got all these things, I'm super successful. But no, that's you can be rich and not be successful, in my opinion.
Right.
Successful is saying I am fulfilled, like I am
Yeah.
doing the things that I know
Yeah.
I should be doing.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, in my mind, being successful is being self-fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
It's setting that goal, working toward that goal, and then making that goal come true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it might and it may take a long time.
Right.
But just knowing that you're making those little choices every day that's
Right.
moving you in that
Yes.
direction.
Correct.
Because life happens, right? So
It
we
does.
get roadblocks.
Yes,
we
we
get
do.
roadblocks. So speaking of road, stop driving the same way and
Mhm.
start taking a different route.
Right.
I bet you there's many routes that you can take to work, but something tells me that you take the fastest, most effective way to get there.
Right.
And rarely take any other routes. Now that's just an analogy. I realize this.
Yes.
But it's the same in anything in life, right? We get in
Yes.
that comfort zone.
We do.
And we just keep going the same route.
Right. So I'm hoping that through this, I've decided to write that people can get out of their comfort zone. If, maybe they've never thought of writing a blog, we can talk about that and learn from others who have.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Or because some people could maybe they think they have a great story, but they don't think they can write. But I think everybody can.
Right.
I think writing is a learned, I mean, you may not be able to, not everyone is necessarily born to write novels. We're not all going to be famous writers that people are, going to seek after to read our books. Not in that kind of arena, maybe. But I think anyone can learn to tell a story or write an article.
Correct.
I say this all the time. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's true. That's true. It's true because I think you do learn and you just get better at it.
Yeah.
And it starts to come a little easier. Yeah. I'm excited, to be a part of it and to learn and hopefully contribute. And and I know that anyone who joins will be glad that they stepped outside their comfort zone too. So just, thinking when we're speaking of comfort zone, again, it's kind of like don't confuse procrastinating with taking a break.
Right.
Don't confuse, getting out of your comfort zone with consistency. Consistency is important.
It is.
Doing things with a consistent manner helps us get to where we want to be.
Yes.
But if we're looking at it from a place of I'm just doing everything that seems easy, I'm not, okay, a good self-reflection question would be, when is the last time I challenged myself?
Yep.
When is the last time I did something that was a little risky?
Yep.
A little like,
Right.
oh, not
Yes.
dangerous, but just something that you kind of
Right.
wanted to do, but
Hmm.
it seemed a little, for some people, that could just be coming into a community.
It could be. Yeah. But I think that you'll find that people are welcoming and they're willing to share their talents and mentor. I've done a lot of mentoring over the years with Bradley students, and
Yes.
so really enjoy that and hope to do that with others. So no need to fear becoming part of a group.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sharing this at the Women in Leadership too. I'm on the board there, and I'm the VP of mentorship. And so I think this is kind of a mentor group, right? It's kind of what I've decided to write is kind of, it really could be looked at as like someone who's an expert in writing is sharing your knowledge and bringing other experts in, sharing their knowledge.
Yep.
It's free. Mentoring is typically a free thing that someone does for you.
Right.
So it kind of
Yeah.
is like a mentoring group
Yeah.
for writing.
Yeah. And again, I think we learn from each other. And I always like to say that many heads are better than one.
Yeah.
We learn from each other, and that's the environment I want to bring to the I've decided to write group is uh, a warm, welcoming place,
Mhm.
and we help each other and we learn
Absolutely.
from each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say too, this is free to the I've Decided community.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really talked about whether or not, we would, going into the new year, if we would invite someone and if there would be a charge if you're not a member. But
Sure.
if you're in the I've Decided community, this is absolute free writing group. And if you're not in the I've Decided community, it's really easy to join. You can log into ivedecided.org and you can join. And the best part about it right now is we have our introductory rate for our success membership. It's only $7 for your first month. And so you pay $7, you get a full month of the I Decided Success membership benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to decide at the end of that month if you really loved what you're getting. You can continue on your membership at the $39 a month, which is our normal rate. Or you can say, you know what, it's not what I thought it was, and you can
Right.
cancel. So really, you're only out $7. It's a great deal. And then you can get in on the, you can join in on the writing group next week, which next week we've invited everyone to kind of join for free for that first meeting, just to kind of see what it's all about.
Right.
So you can come visit for the first meeting, but you'll have to decide after that. So just want to be clear about that. But it's a great way to get into our community, especially if writing is your bag, then this is the time and the place to do it. So stop driving the same way and take a different route. Step outside of your comfort zone. Success is where happens outside of that comfort zone. It's never in your easy chair.
Correct.
Never ever. Yes. Yeah. And we've already talked about stop going solo and start building connections. One thing I wanted to say, and you mentioned this just a little bit, but I wanted to highlight it about being in a group, is hanging around like-minded people enhances your abilities and it just helps you gain greater knowledge.
Correct.
And so you want to be with like-minded people. And the thing that I'm looking forward to, and what I'm hoping to be able to get out of the group is some feedback, some honest, constructive feedback, right? Just like if you would have worded this a little differently, or maybe you left something out that could have been an important factor, like just reading my articles, right? Because that's what I spend a lot of time writing is I write our weekly winning resource for I've Decided and the articles.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping to get that honest feedback to help improve those skills. And just because when someone is truly reading your material, looking to give you some feedback, you're going to learn.
Right.
And get information that you may not have thought about.
Right. And I think one of the other things I wanted to mention is that, so for 2022, the sessions will be September, October, November, and it'll be really an educational topic. Our meeting next week will be focusing on getting to know the people who have joined and what their expectations are for the group. And my goal is to use feedback from next Wednesday's session to help plan 2023. So my goal there is to have like part of the meeting be an educational topic, and then kind of get into the nuts and bolts of a true writers group where people are writing drafts and then submitting them for review.
Great.
And I'm going to be researching all that.
That's amazing.
Between
it's
now
going to be
and January to make sure that we're running it as efficiently and as possible.
Well, you had, I mean, obviously you're the right person for this. So you've already had one very successful group, and you're ready to start it again. So obviously, we're going to be able to learn so much, and you take this very seriously. So it's going to be really great. And then last but not least, stop ignoring your self-care and start taking care of yourself. I cannot tell you, and I do say that I don't generally, I'm like, these are in no particular order, but this one I do think I really saved the best for last because there is nothing more important than your self-care. Most recently I ran across this quote, and I've said it a million times, and you guys have probably heard me say it already, but it's worth repeating, and I say it all the time. The best thing that I can do for you is to take care of myself. True. And the best thing that you can do for me is to take care of yourself. And I told my husband, I said, I want that like painted in our room or on a plaque in our bedroom or something, because especially from a relational point of view in a marriage setting or in a, that special relationship that you're in.
Yes.
That is the best. I mean, truly the best gift that I can give to Joe is to take care of myself. And the best gift that he can give to me is to take care of himself.
Yes.
And if you think about that, then you recognize, because most people tend to look at it as being selfish, or they don't have time because they're busy taking care of someone else. But if you're not if you're not your best self,
right,
how can you take care of anyone else? Even if you're a mom of toddlers, you can't take care of those, all them kids.
You have to take care of yourself. Yeah, that's number one.
Yes. And you have to, it comes back to when you say, I don't have time, I'm too busy. You have to make the time. There is a way to make the time.
Yes.
There is a way. There is a way. There's always a way to do what you want to do.
It has to become a priority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your kids will thank you, because you will be happier, less grumpy.
They will appreciate that.
Your spouse, your partner, your special person in your life will be much happier because you will be less grumpy. I talked a little bit about things that are important, like being hydrated. Mm-hmm. And I have to share that with everybody that I meet, because the medical society says that 80% of the population are dehydrated. Now, it almost sounds unbelievable, but it's not. It's the truth. Just talk to anyone at the emergency room. They will tell you that 40% of the people that come in with chronic, like think they're dying, once they're fully hydrated, all their symptoms go away and they feel much better. Dehydration is chronic, and it will kill you. It's deadly. It is a very serious condition. And you can't be your best self if you're dehydrated.
Right.
And I know it sounds so silly, but it's so true.
I think we've all had, I've had an experience with a family member with that. So what you're saying is very true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's the number one thing. Make sure you stay hydrated, sleep, taking care of your sleep, thinking that you're getting more done because you're only working 4 or 5 hours, or sleeping, 4 or 5 hours, just so that you can get up and do more work, and thinking you're just hammering it out, getting things done. Really, you're less productive. And if you think you're sharp on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, you should see how sharp you could be on 7 or 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Much sharper. Since we're talking about sharpening.
Yes, so sharpening those skills. Well, if you go back to taking that rest, whoever, I always love it when I say they say whoever they are, but the experts out there say that if you for every hour that you're sitting down working, you need to take a 10-minute break. So every 60 minutes, 10 minutes break. And they've done research and studies that show that the person who does that gets way more accomplished in their day than the person that doesn't. Because you're only going to be able to focus for so long.
Right.
And it's just human nature. You're going to get tired, less productive, not think as clearly, and it makes sense.
It does.
So that's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So let's listen to them, whoever they are. So, all right. I always love that old saying, give yourself oxygen first, and then you can have what you need to take care of somebody else. Yes. So it's just so true. And so, if we're not looking at these things, these behaviors that we can kind of get stuck in every day, and not even recognizing if they're good or bad, that's determining where you're going.
Right.
Believe it or not, it is. You're going to get somewhere. Where do you want to go? And you're in the driver's seat, and you have control of your car. So wherever you're driving it is wherever you're going to go. And so it's just so important that you pay attention to those and make sure you stay sharp. The sharper you are, the better you are. Usually I give them the definition. I think everybody kind of knows sharpen, to make sharper, but this is my favorite, to hone or improve something. So if you want to sharpen your writing skills, don't forget, you can join us virtual from wherever you are Wednesday night, starting Wednesday night. There are going to be 3 sessions, September, October, November in 2022, and then we'll pick up again in 2023. But the thing you need to know right now is September 28th is the first session. It is free. Anyone can come to that and give it a whirl. At 6:30 p.m. for an hour on Zoom, wherever you are. And you can email us, you can go to our website at ivedecided.org, hit the contact, send a message there. If you really want to join this group, you should be able to get in touch with us and figure out how to make that happen. And we would love to see you. So, Julie, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me this week. It was a perfect fit for our topic. And so I look forward to sharpening my writing skills and learning from you and your experts that you bring in to teach us. And I thank you for for stepping up, stepping up and stepping out and contributing back to your I've Decided community as a member and offering your expert skills, your writing skills in doing this. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. I hope that you will take to heart some of the things you heard today and work at sharpening your skills and stop doing some of those things that might be dulling your abilities. So until next time, you guys make it great. Bye-bye.